Welcome back to the OPL, where we just saw Avant Garde take game 1 over Tainted Minds, but it wasn't easy. After an early lead, they did let it slip a little bit, so that's what I want to visit. First off, Fish, decision-making for Avant Garde wasn't really on par of what we expect out of an OPL veteran team.
Definitely not. And Avant Garde previously, when they had Destiny in their lineup, they had a lot better, a lot more clear decision-making. We saw it quite a few times in Sounds in the game as well, where we saw he was the key shot caller, the key decision-maker for the team. In the first game against Tainted Minds, it seemed like they had the right idea. They were making the right calls in place to start off the game, but got very sloppy towards the mid-game. So I really want to see them clean that up coming into this next match.
What I found just a little bit awkward is they had so many engage tools, having the Maokai available to them, having the Azir, but unfortunately they just couldn't pull the trigger as effectively as they needed to before Tainted Minds kind of got their composition online from the deficit that they were put in the beginning of the game.
All right, now let's talk about the deficit, because a lot of people will look towards that matchup and they'll think, you took the Varus into the Azir. It's an outright counter pick. We've seen it so many times. Omni, how do you fall behind? What people don't realize is like level 1 to 5, Varus is pretty much a sitting duck and needs to get a tier and needs to start getting some mana pool and that level 9 to be able to scale up. What do you want to see out of Omni going forward?
I want to see him pick up a champion that's just going to take it to Azir effectively. Victor was available there. Take the Victor into the Azir matchup, or take a champion that you have confidence, or even just take Azir off the board. Don't play a passive champion that's going to sit back and farm. Omni showed that he had the mechanics to keep up with Triple. We saw some amazing cleanses from him, some great escapes. The initial one where he flashes over the wall after an immediate cleanse. So I think he has the capability. All he needs to do is survive and neutralize a lane, so Zero's not losing to the mid lane. They're lost. Their all-star AD carry effectively lost to the 7-0 Azir, continuously diving down into his lane.
And we saw this a few times in a couple of team fights as well, where it was the start of the fight where we see Omni not quite able to match up to Triple. Triple's able to get a lot of damage out, a lot of kills very early on into the team fights, and it's Lost that has to try and claw it back time and time again for Tainted Minds. I think if Omni can hold his ground, try and keep Reindeer on his level for a short amount of time, not let him snowball ahead, it's going to be really beneficial for Tainted Minds.
He meant Triple, guys. That's all right. We'll bear with him on this one. He said Reindeer. He meant Triple. Oops. That's all right. We've got this covered. So going towards that top side of the map, don't worry, Fish. Stay with me, buddy.
I'm here.
So going towards that top side of the map, I want to talk about Arasat Paradise. He had a pretty much easy game there. He's on Maokai. He's continually scaling up there. What did we make of the top lane? Because it seemed like the junglers on AV side disregarded it. Zahi wanted to get up there. Was that the right call? It was a little bit strange to leave Lost out to sea like that a little bit, in my opinion.
I understand the fact that it's barred Ezreal, and they kind of sacrificed their power spike after the initial back, because you're trading battle stats. I mean, everyone knows this, like the tier. I think the bigger issue is the fact that, okay, I'm going top, they see me, we're diving the Maokai, we're taking the kill there. Someone needs to tell Rosie and Lost that there's a good chance that my Azir just walked into Fog of War and you could be dove because we know where the enemy jungler is. They had so much time in between the initial dive on top lane to get off the bottom tier tower, but it didn't look like anyone made the call, and they ended up falling for that, I think, 2 or 3 times.
Well, it looks like a lot of adjustments need to come through from both teams. We'll see if they're able to do it. Guys, players are ready to get onto Summoner's Rift. We've lost the ability to talk completely on this desk today, so we're going to go out back, try and get ourselves together. Here is Rogi and Rusty to take us on for game number 2.
Thanks, guys. And after an epic game, Rusty and I may have lost a little bit of our voices as well, but we're going to try to power through it all night.
Well, thankfully, I think we can still string words together and make sentences. See, we just did that one. Thank you, Analyst Desk, though, because we are about to move into our second game. And there is one thing that I do want to touch on briefly, what they were mentioning on the desk. I want to preface everything they're saying by not agreeing with them and saying that Omni is a good player.
A bold prediction, Rusty.
Omni is actually a good player is what I'm trying to say here. We're not actually saying that he is bad. We're saying that he is being exploited by Triple, who is good, and that Omni needs to start holding his own against this better opponent.
It's a fair thing to say, us just standing here. Let's see if he can actually put that criticism to the test and back it up with some solid play. Looks like very similar bans to game number 1, so nothing notable happening just yet.
I think the one major thing that we do have to note is that Avant Garde will be losing that one ban, I believe it was, due to being late for the first game. It was too late to obviously take the ban, so they will be losing it in the second game. So it does change drafting slightly here if you were that team.
Something that you always should account for should ever circumstances aren't in your favor. So Tainted Minds might be able to snag something on the second rotational champion picks there that Avant does not want to let through.
Yeah, and Selza, who was looking quite heavily towards the Echo last time around, but Paradise, formerly RSI, has shown his capabilities on the Maokai. I don't think it's too much of a concern for them. The big deal to me was that Azir. It's actually something that stood out massively for Triple. And with Tainted Minds having that last band available to them, you would imagine that it would go towards something like that Azir.
Yeah, when a game that ends so close but starts with a 7-0 Azir, there might be some warning lights here on the side of Tainted Minds.
I think there's sirens. Ban it.
Yep, so let's see if they do heed that warning and take that one away from the hands of Triple.
I will say the other big trade-off about this is that if you don't ban it, you make them choose between the Lucian or the Azir that they took in their first rotation when they were on the red side of the map. So naturally, this last ban could actually be something either irrelevant or targeted, depending on which you wish. Like Braum.
It's a great point to mention. It will be the Braum, so despite losing one ban, identical bans here, both teams. Looks like they will be favoring that Echo who, despite being nerfed time and time again, still shines through the darkness, and a bit of deja vu here. Looks like they will be hovering at that Maokai.
Whilst it's a hover, I think they should actually still look towards something along the lines of the Lucian in that first rotation, once again taking it from Chenny. I do actually want to mention that the champion being hovered right now is actually broken.
Swain not having a lot of fun in Dynamic Q, Rusty.
Difference, I think, is the difference between champions right now. Graves as well, if he really wanted to go farm heavy and disregard Gragas as that option.
Could be the Rek'Sai, but as you mentioned, it is player preference at this stage, and Zahi does prefer the Rek'Sai.
Yeah, and that's a champion that we won't see a whole lot of.
Sure.
Because Rek'Sai is not too good at them, or she's not too good at the moment. Still jungles well. It's that first clear where there's a bit of trouble, and perhaps he'll go towards the Warrior enchantment this time around. Once again, Zahi likes to be aggressive, but he also likes those tank rolls here and there.
We're definitely mixing it up here with that Rek'Sai champion we haven't seen too much of, so like you said, could potentially be that Warriors, but now it's going to be on the back of Omni to kind of be a shadow of Triple's Azir in game number 1. Can he make such an impact that we'll be talking about it for days to come, or will Triple show us just how good Varus actually is into Azir?
Well, the first big change is obviously the jungle from Zahi, because you don't need to have cleanse now if you were Triple. Can actually afford to run the heal or potentially barrier, which is, I believe, had a slight buff in 6.10, but it seems to be that heal. Which means naturally have a little bit more pressure in laning phase, because when you run cleanse against the Azir, it's not for the Azir, it's for the Elise. This time around, you've got a combat stat.
You're exactly right, and Azir, no stranger to just dishing out tons of damage. Obviously, we are loading into this game. Remember, guys, to get on Twitter and hashtag that AV win, or show your support for Tainted Minds with hashtag TMWin.
Yeah, and of course, kicking it off on the right foot, AV. It took a little while for them to get there, but Tainted Minds, they've shown they've got a lot of fight still left in them. Very strong individual players, and coming into this second game, I don't think we'll see any slouching from them whatsoever.
It was a game and a half in game time and more, Rusty, but we are now on to game number 2 on the rift between Avant and Tainted Minds here.
Looking at the Keystone Masteries, naturally. Nothing stands out as different or unexpected.
Sure.
Deathfire Touch, actually, the normal Varus Keystone Mastery of choice. Fervor of Battle for both AD carries is a preference to Warlord's Bloodlust at the moment, and everybody seems to be going towards.
Karma just kind of came out of nowhere, as we see Zahi does get a little bit of poke down, but Karma really just kind of asserted herself as one of the top supports in her role right now, of that shield-based disengage, kind of Lulu-esque.
Yeah, she flaunted herself as capable, I think is the best way to describe Karma right now. I would not say top tier by any means. In fact, I would almost rate Bard as the better version. Perhaps Janna, if you're looking for shields, as the better version.
Makes sense.
But Karma is more holistic in the way that that works. So you've got the shield for engage or disengage. You've got tether to keep people there as well, to actually let your team go in. And you've got damage. It finds a nice balance between lane control and support for your team. You do miss out on healing, though.
Kind of a jack of all trades here. The only heal she does have is on herself. As we see both the mid laners just doing their mid laney things. They don't have to worry about a care in the world. No early jungle, no lane swaps. Just farm it up and bully your opponent. The good old days.
The biggest care is actually the opposite person too. Not the easiest battle. Triple showing that Varus does still have what it takes to win this lane, however. Varus naturally should have the advantage. Purely once he gets the Q as well, but even level 1 because Omni can't follow up any trade.
Deja vu as we see lanes that we saw last game once again. Bashing heads in the top, the two tanks just trying to assert dominance over each other as Paradise looks to go for a little bit more.
Yeah, having a great time in this top lane. Zazahu, it actually comes down to the battle of who gets level 2 first, so you can see the hard pushing. And there you go.
Yeah, but it looks like Paradise wants to turn it back around. Both of these guys are incredibly low, but Zazahu, he might be the first one to fall. They flash over. There's Chelby with a punch and a kick. Takes first blood over to Avant.
And you know what? The biggest thing about that is Chelby's arrival,
Yeah.
which says to me communication from Paradise. Even Zahi was looking towards the top side of the map, so they were telling everybody on their team that they're going to fight. And they're going to get level 2, and they're just going to play to it. So both top laners actually just hard pushing and hard auto-attacking till they get to that mark, and then just go in. But the successor of that absolutely is Avant again.
They're already a good CS lead, forcing the teleport out of Zazahu so he doesn't fall further and further behind, but great positioning, only a little bit better by Chelby. We see that Karma Shield blocking out any of that piercing light damage.
And still actually the big deal in the top lane is just the Dark Steel pickup because that's more sustained. 25% increased healing from every single potion. If they continue to trade even, well then Echo wins that by a large margin.
Dark Steel definitely asserted itself as one of the best first backs, especially on these corrupted potion champions. Seeing the mid lane, Omni starting to find his footing here.
You right over there, mate?
Yeah, all right. Just a little bit of a hiccup here and there.
Nice.
But in the bot lane, Jake gets caught out. Is it going to be enough? Flash from Lost. Picks himself up that one. Shelby doesn't want anything to come out of this one. Was in range, but thought the better of it.
Yeah, and Zahi gets into the bottom lane now, level 4 as well. This Rek'Sai matching the early pressure to an extent of Shelby, if not besting it, given that Shelby kind of just came in and cleaned up that first blood. Things looking good here for Tainted Minds on the strong side of their map. Where you want the kills to be is in Lucian's hands, or in Lost's hands, as he is now known.
He did a great job last game of kind of turning those losing fights. All of a sudden, he would Arcane Shift in and bang a double kill, and buying his team time, if not anything else.
Yeah, absolutely. He's a strong player. Chenny no slouch, though, as it is now noted.
Greedy recall, though.
Very greedy recall. He's not going to get that recall.
That's going to lose him a lot of time. Just gave him credit for buying his team time, and he loses a lot of it himself.
He's buying it for his team, right? Makes it quicker for Bud to get back. I don't know.
You're exactly right.
There's nothing
You're
good from
exactly
that. Yeah.
right.
Absolutely a lazy recall. Chenny's also going to be matching it. So realistically, just makes the timing more favorable for the Ezreal because he gets a single extra wave. And that's the difference between the two.
So Shelby is on that top side of the map now. Just going to be finishing off those Krugs. Might want to go for a dive onto Zazahu. He's only level 5, so Ventral Maelstrom not available, and a very low mana pool here. The stun is going to land. Not level 6 on Paradise just yet. They've gone back in, but the flash body slam should be enough as Chelby picks up another kill.
Yeah, and Chelby gets the kill as well, not Paradise. So now the money can move around the map and actually impact everywhere else. The major thing to note here is that Chelby's not going the Runic Echoes build. Instead, he's opting towards the tanky build. And
Alright.
you might call that a miss, given that he is 2-0. It's a lot of pressure that could go to waste.
You're exactly right.
He's not going to die.
Might be feeling a little bit bad in hindsight that he can't put the team on his back and carry them like a barrel.
It is still good that he has the gold, though. And the reason I say this is because of Varus Ezreal having tears means that he can try and bridge them towards that point of power.
Oh, a bad ultimate out of Omni, but Triple also misses his. Does land onto Zahi and Rosie, but failed dive attempt from Tainted Minds. Maybe jumping the gun a little bit here.
That was super awkward. And like there was more than one reason to why that was awkward as well when you think about it. Triple wasn't aiming for the Rek'Sai with his ult.
Yep.
There's no way that if he was aiming for that, then he is a god. And like, I'm not going to discount that.
Sure.
But that's very impressive. And what he was actually doing was aiming for Omni, who also missed the ultimate. So all things considered, very well played from the Varus, very poorly played from Omni, the mid laner from Tainted Minds. He's not making a good case for himself. 7 minutes into this second game.
They're really feeling the pressure.
Stuck up for him.
Oh no,
Shelby's
once
back.
again, Shelby is back. The flash is available from Saza as well as the ultimate, forced to burn that flash, really respecting this farmy Cinder Gragas right now.
Yeah, well, he just keeps coming back. Sooner or later, Zahi will have to come top lane for pressure, and it's almost a way to relieve it from the bottom.
Chenny Boy not backing down from that one as Jake doing what he can to turn the damage around as well.
Yeah, absolutely right. He didn't back down. He matched the trade. And Karma actually coming up to help there a lot. The major difference, I would say, is the level 6 that Lost had. So if they want to push this aggression, don't be surprised to see a Culling come out after this wave does. That was a weird cue.
So they will just be doing what they can to keep the minion wave in their favor.
Oh, Dragon. Looks like they'll go for it anyway. They've got the Azir here.
Ocean Drake, if I'm not mistaken.
You're not mistaken.
We'll be finishing this one off. So no one is in position to contest this one. Ocean Drake also did receive a little bit of quality of life in the most recent patch.
In a bad way.
Yep.
You have to remember, out of combat now, you'll regenerate your health. Which means not during combat.
It was pretty gross, though.
It was, and now it's more balanced. It's good. I'd probably put it at like the 3rd most important dragon, perhaps behind Infernal and Mountain. Still very strong dragon and team comp dependent. Like, it'll be a big deal.
Well, looks like there's going to be another one just around the corner. So teams who want that early health and mana regen can be favoring that one. I feel like Tainted Minds just took it more or less as a second thought rather than a necessity this game.
Yeah, and it's still a very good objective to take. Just remember that sustain. You may not think much of it, but it adds up in the end.
Oh, Chenny Boy might be in a little bit of trouble. They all go in, but he's able to make a huge flash over the wall. It might not be enough as Magical Journey getting them through. Jake with a beautiful...
Shelby.
They're coming in. Oh, Shelby just barrels them into the tower, and that's going to be a kill going over to Jakey and Chenny Boy. A failed gank from Tainted Minds.
And that's funny because it was so close to not being failed at all. Chenny Boy's interactions with all of the knockups being able to be like shifted away from, and the flash with the Bard stun.
It was huge.
Like, the small details here add up to be a big deal. Like, the amount of damage that went missing from that culling would have been his death. Shelby comes up clutch though towards the end of this, and Paradise with that teleport timing. Just one step ahead of Sazahu once again.
Oh, Zahi gets interrupted during the tunnel. Should be going down from this one. There is Rosie to keep him safe. Omni's on the way. The triple ulti does hit, looking to turn his attention onto the Izzy, who's going to have to flash away from that one. So far, it's a 1-for-1. But Triple just once again showing mastery of the mid lane.
Yeah, Triple putting in work. Of course, Shelby once again. He goes a bit deep. Still had flash. Couldn't get himself out to safety. And just goes to show the strength of having that Cinderhulk ahead early. It means that whilst you're building tanky, you'll still be doing damage because you are just outright winning.
Also going for that Hunter's Potion here, so wants to match that sustain that the Ocean Drake
That I
gives.
don't think is necessary.
That seems a little bit, especially as on Gragas, getting health back after every spell cast. Maybe just wants to be topped up at all times should Zahi ever try some invading shenanigans.
Yeah, there's definitely certain reasons why he would go towards it. I think it's preference. But that essentially means one of the kills that he's got is now wasted towards potions. He doesn't really need.
It's a fair point to make.
Yeah, and that means that there's not a whole lot of difference between junglers. But naturally, Zahi going towards that warrior build on his Rek'Sai. Wants to do damage. Wants to still be a part of the carry jungle meta that most people will be going towards. Just needs to have that early pressure and crowd control. He was trying to match Shelby. That's where the difference is right now in these teams. Triple's not losing his lane. In fact, he's 10 CS ahead. And everything's looking all right here for AV in this second game.
Triple showing Omni that Varus very well and truly works against Azir. 10 minutes in the game. Nearly 2,000 gold ahead are Avant once again off to an early lead. No towers taken just yet. Only objective has been that dragon spin in the favor of Tainted Minds. We see Echo trying to go for a very Rek'Sai-esque gank over the Raptor Pit.
Yeah, it's actually almost a throwback to the old jungle Echo that we used to see in terms of his positioning. He did have Gragas waiting in the wings with him. So if Omni was ever caught out of position, remember, the Azir has no summoner spells. Very easily killed if they can get onto him.
Doing a great job dodging those arrows. We've seen just how much damage a single target arrow out of Triple hits, especially as well with Deathfire's touch. But looks like Shelby and Triple made their way over to this Rift Herald.
Yeah, and it looks like they're going to be giving this one to Triple, the mid laner. Perhaps RSI will pick it up. Okay, we'll see what happens. Remember, it's good on both solo carries. The keyword is solo.
Yep, looks like Paradise will be getting himself that one, unless Shelby wants it for whatever reason.
And the conflicting changes here from game 1 to 2. Look at the way that Chenny and Jake are playing. Last time we saw this, they tried to fight under the turret. It was Tainted Minds that were in this position, but they stood their ground, and that's where it backfires. This time around, they actually show some reservations, and they look to play the game out as slowly as they can and not lose themselves any kills for no reason.
Doing a good job of defending that tower. Jake showing just why Karma can be utilized. Gets that Mantra-empowered Q to defend off any minions. Shelby going to be donating that blue buff over to Triple. Going to be feeling good about that one. Does has upgraded his tier, so will be self-stacking on the side of Omni. Only got himself the, not the Nash's, what is it? Can't remember the name of that item.
That was a Bardol.
Stinger, that's the one. But yeah, the Bardol, the Tempered Fate, going a little bit wide as Chenny Boy did force a flash out of Karma. Keep that in mind.
Yeah, the flash was definitely forced. Still the Bard ultimate's a lower cooldown than the flash, so still a valuable ultimate nonetheless. With Dragon up in 40 seconds, though neither will be available. And mid lane is in trouble.
Oh, Triple, that was an ultimate that I bet he wish he had right about now. Use it to zone Omni off. Paid for it with his life.
Just got the blue buff from Shelby as well, and now
no.
he's regretting that one massively. As Tainted Minds get themselves a step in the right direction.
Shelby.
Wishing he had damage, I think.
Yeah.
Really doesn't.
Just going to be slowly whittling away those minions with the AoE burn buff.
Yeah, but still
Very slowly.
They can't outright go for the dragon either, remember, this early in the game. Death timers are quite short. What we are looking for, though, is Avant to actually contest this one, because 2 Oceans can be obnoxious. One's annoying. 2 is like, why did I give them this one? At least look for it.
Yeah, they really want to contest this one. They don't want that extra amount of health and mana should any fight take place here. Omni has made his way down the target. Going to be Shelby a good amount of damage. A bit of a late shield off Jake.
Yeah, and this is where the engage tool of Tainted Minds is actually a teleport potentially from Sazahu.
Oh, it's not up.
Otherwise, it's lacking. That's the main point. Even the Bard Tempered fades down, so their engage isn't really there. And they shouldn't look to force the dragon until summoner spells or cooldowns are present. Until such a time, they just kind of recede back to farm.
Paradise and Zazahu once again butting heads in this top lane, but we know how this story goes. It ends with Zazahu's screen being grey, but in the bot lane, Chenny Boy gets taken very low, but it looks like Lossie's got his blood sent on. Chenny Boy is able to arcane shift out of that one, but Shelby just flashes in with the empowered W, but here comes Paradise making good use of that teleport. Triple also made his way down.
Yeah, Zazahu doesn't have his, so they do have a lot of time to work around at least getting the Ocean Dragon. Zahi, probably the Miracle Steal is the only thing they'd be looking towards, and another great map movement from Triple, showing that he's not locked down into this middle lane, and that's what's separating Omni and Triple right now in this series.
He's just not finding any gaps to go out with, despite opposite matchups. We thought it may have been just the presence of Azir constantly pushing it in, but now Triple able to find times when Omni can't do anything about it and making advantages out of thin air once again.
Yeah, they're doing well here, AV, to get what they can through mostly proactive map movement. Very impressive to see, I will say. Once again, this side showing that they have what it takes to give it to the new OPL side in Tainted Minds, who are standing resilient, nonetheless.
It's their first game in the OPL, first time against a completely different caliber of player than they're used to versing, and they might be cracking a little bit under the pressure here as Omni trying to go for something here. The flash onto Triple, but Omni was not on the same page here as Triple just going to answer with a flash of his own, but now Zahi is in trouble. The snare's going to land. One more auto attack should do it.
Shelby?
Oh, Shelby! He gets denied.
No,
he might be in trouble now with no mana, but no mana onto Omni either, so everyone just kind of walks away after that.
Every time I look at Shelby, I just say, if you had ability power, everybody near you is dead. No, not enough mana to speak of. Of course, no ultimate available for the Gragas. Triples the saving grace of this exact point in time, because they get themselves that turret.
At the end of the day, Avant come out ahead of that little exchange, netting themselves the first tower for them. On the bot side, though, Lost but found gets himself a beautiful tower, evening up the gold a little bit, still heavily in Avant's favor, though.
Almost working towards his second item as well, so Lost, once he's got that, will be able to pretty much kill anybody in a solo duel. Paradise would have a very rough time against him, and it's something that a few Lucians with this build will do, is look towards side lanes and start map movements. Speaking of, there are two people starting to crash down on Paradise's parade.
He's got himself that Rift Herald, allows him that extra damage when he is alone from any of his allies, and we're seeing just that, a 2v1 here. Paradise just going to run away. There's nothing they can do about it.
Jenny Boy, however.
Yeah, he might be caught out. The exhaust not going to be enough to stifle the damage. He changes targets in the last minute. Does he want to go for the dive here? Second guesses it.
Absolutely not in the way of diving that one. But now 4-1 loss. This is exactly what we expect once again from Tainted Minds. Put all of the money, all of the kills into your AD carry. He's an exceptionally hard carry. Zero now known as Lost. And expect more of it from him as top lane.
Oh, Saza, who we've seen this happen before. What happens when Shelby comes to knock on the top lane? A 2v2? Yeah, Zahi, he's not going to be feeling very good after that one. Zazu trying his best to help him out, but Omni is also here, but look at Triple. He's made his way up a huge chunk of damage. There is the chains. It's onto Sazo, who he's got nowhere to run. Flash not available just yet. Can Omni maybe get a consolation prize? Not going to happen.
Not at all. Now Triple 2-1, Chelby 4-1-5, and James Bond in the top lane is RSI on this Echo. Doing well, honestly, all of AV except the bottom lane, and he's still 2-1-2. It's just that they can't fight the 2v2. So if they sit back, they let the map unfold, and then look more aggressively to do things as a team. And Avant are looking great. This is so good from Chelby.
It's another very tough scenario that Tainted Minds find themselves in, but we know how resilient they are from game number 1, so let's hope that wasn't just a fluke and they are able to play from this deficit and show us why they deserve to win the OPL.
Soulstrike's had a lot of praise for AV coming into this first split, second split rather, of the OPL. Said they were a very strong side, even potentially put them at top 4.
Sure.
It's very surprising to see them actually performing to that extent in game number 1. Lots of potential still behind this roster, and it's already shining.
Yeah, playing with a lot of confidence here. Shelby definitely playing like the entire map belongs to him.
Well, that guy bleeds confidence. It's unreal. If he had Ignite, he'd use it on you just to BM you.
What an absolute monster. Shame he didn't go for AP. Would have liked to see him on more than just 4 kills. Looks like the bottom lane tower will be taken out by Chenny Boy and Paradise. They've got a huge minion wave with only Maokai coming to answer. They're trading towers, though.
Yeah. Shelby's kind of just sitting top lane to watch the tower fall, but you're right, they are trading. Still 2 people mid lane and 2 people bottom lane from AV. Paradise is
Here comes Omni. He's going to try and do what he can to help the Emperor's Divide, only stopping Chenny Boy from getting away. They pick up the Ezreal. They've got their sights set onto Paradise. Here comes Zahi. No ultimate for the Echo available. Jakey going to do what he can to speed him up. He might be able to get away from this one because Rosie is locked up with Triple. Triple goes down, but so does Paradise. Shelby now in a bit of trouble, going to be forced to ult, but a good magical journey. Could the chase still be on? It's very hard to chase a Gragas.
Yeah, they're not going to be able to get him, but they're looking at Baron at 21 minutes in this game. Remember that all 5 of them are alive. 3 are dead from AV. Chenny's ult will be up soon, and they're aware that the Baron is being taken. So this is a risk, especially given that the jungler of AV is standing.
It looks like half the team want the Baron, half want to fight Lost, doing what he can. Flashes over, got his sight set onto Shelby. A couple more auto attacks should do it. The Baron does fall in favor of Tainted Minds. They get Shelby. Now they've got their sights set onto Jake. He's got nowhere to go. Lost should be picking himself up. A nice double kill on the back of a beautiful Baron play.
And it just feels like it makes too much sense to watch AV get themselves a lead and throw it all away one more time. Tainted Minds, however, getting the Baron and the Dragon with all of these kills. There's no trades to be seen from AV. No idea why they were diving bottom. No idea why Triple committed that deep to the middle lane. And the world just implodes around them.
Sometimes playing with confidence isn't always the best thing, Rusty.
Well, there's a difference between confidence and stupidity, I think is the plain way to say it, right?
That's exactly right.
You can be confident, but if you do that to a fault, then it's still to a fault. And they made that mistake.
And Tainted Minds just take complete control over this map. Getting themselves the Baron, getting themselves the gold lead, getting themselves their Air Drake to follow. They're feeling really good now.
Yeah, at 22 minutes, they've actually only got themselves like a 1k gold lead, but you would imagine with the Baron
It was
buff,
a swing though as well.
yeah, exactly, and the duration that's about to follow that, they should be able to get more objectives, perhaps that mid lane turret. Once again, AV will show some resilience in their stead as well. Lots of damage still to be seen from this roster. They just need to keep it together.
Ooh, the Crystal Scepter doing a great job, forcing Triple. Get out of that one. Jake was able to speed him up. This tower should be forfeit though.
Definitely should be. It's an outer though, so it's one of the turrets that
Not
you
too
can
bad.
readily sacrifice. It's the inners that start to become a lot more delicate. They've also got a 7-1 Lucian with that Baron buff to contest within a side lane. And that's it's a bit harder to deal with.
I was going to say, what is it with Lucians and split pushing, but then you said he's 7-1, so it all makes sense now.
He's also got the
He's
split pushing
unstoppable.
build.
He does too. He's feeling really good about the state that he's in right now. Avant kind of just answering the call that Tainted Minds are putting out. We want to go top? All right, we'll follow you guys top. We want to go mid? All right, we're coming mid. They're really not making any plays of their own at the moment.
Well, they can't afford to because the Baron buff's there, so they do just have to sit back and respond. Sooner or later, they'll lose that pressure, and when the pressure falls, they'll be able to find opportunities to be proactive. It comes down to killing Lost. The Lucian needs to die. If they don't kill that Lucian, the Lucian will kill you. But there are so many other threats available for Tainted Minds. There's also the Azir Emperor's Divide to stop them from getting onto him. This is a great team composition. I said it last time around. Like, Avant won with this team composition they're now playing against.
See if they can maybe, from experience, find a way to stop this juggernaut that is lost on this Lucian. We've sung him nothing but praise. Struggled a little bit in the last game, but really coming to his form in this one. 7-1. Seems like he's following in suit of Triple in that first game.
Yeah, absolutely. He's starting a really hard carry for his team. He's warmed up. He's got those leggings on. Now he's going in full sprint mode and needs to still continue to carry that team. But with the Phantom Dancer in his back pocket, it is only 30% crit, remember? That's the major difference between these builds is from here, it's definitely getting outscaled by a standard Lucian build.
Sure.
And whilst he's got himself to 7-1, he'll actually still be ahead. If he wasn't at that point, he'd actually be perhaps not as strong compared to the normal Lucian build. No one can kill him.
That's a risk you take when you go with these little bit of off-meta builds, but definitely showing why it's so good on Lucian. As we see Lost once again going to be split pushing in that top lane. Does have the likes of Zahi on Rek'Sai to back him up should anyone want to come and say hello. Yeah. Maokai just waiting in base. Makes me think that they want to make a teleport play here.
Certainly feels that way. Of course, there's no other way for him to get into these fights with the teleport, but you always look for the flank wards and where he can even go. You have to go to a minion.
Right.
There's a deep one near red buff. That's a Bard ult for the record. The tower's not just golden. It missed.
Zaza, who's spending a lot of time in base here. Maybe too much time here. I don't know where they plan to teleport to just yet.
Yeah, so he was looking, but he's going to go bottom now and start to threat. Remember, he does still have the teleport, so if he hits minions, he'll be a lot more valuable. Doesn't have the home guards, however. AV, they can now look to be more proactive, knowing that the Baron buff isn't there to help the Tainted Minds roster as they move around the map a little bit more lackluster in strength.
Rosie just doing what he can to try and save his wards. Not going to happen. As Jake and Chenny Boy are there to assist Shelby.
Lots of damage once again from the Varus.
Just goes to show why people like to pick this Varus into the Azir, just pushing him back. He's down to about 30-40% health here. Sazahu got himself a sizable minion wave. The only tower left in this lane is the inhibitor one, but Avant finally coming out of their shell here a bit, looking to make a play.
Yeah, they've got a lot of time. They know that Omni has to recall. It could be overextended, but it seems like they're going to be perfectly fine.
The teleports are coming out It is quite far behind them. Let's see if Sazahu can go for a position, but Deja Vu, they're going all in on the Mauka before anyone is there to help. A beautiful tempered fate catching 2 members. Zahi, he's so low. One more auto attack to do it. Chenny Boy finishes off that one. Lost. He's in a lot of trouble as Paradise doing what he can to finish that one. Sazahu, he doesn't have his ultimate ticking anymore. He just gets cut down after that one. Here comes Omni looking for something. There's the heal out of triple to keep him safe. The Empress Divide is enough to quell any further aggression. Lost is still alive, but Paradise wants to make something of it. Should the EB back off cooldown? One more auto attack is all he needs. The stun though, here comes Omni. They're looking for it. He gets killed mid-E. And Shelby now is in a bit of trouble. They're trying what they can. A beautiful flash to dodge that. But Triple, he might get stunned up when it's a Q off cooldown. There it is. And Rosie with a beautiful stun that facilitates Omni and Lost to finish that one off. The fight isn't done yet. We see Rek'Sai zooming past our screen. But Chenny Boy, he's got quite a lot of mana pool and he's got an Iceborne Gauntlet. It's going to be quite a task to take him out.
The Ocean Drake's helping him out with that mana regeneration. But sooner or later, the man will fall. The dragon will follow.
There we go.
And everything turns back in Tainted Mind's direction.
Oh my lord.
But once again, absolutely pointlessly, it turns back into Tainted Mind's direction. They capitalize well, they execute mechanically superb. Everything that they could have done, they did. But it shouldn't have been there to do. Avant, they get picks, they win a team fight, and they decide that they don't value winning that fight. They just want to make sure that the trade goes poorly.
Look, we've said this time and time again.
Like, there's another Baron of, like, you could not time this worse.
I know.
If you were Avant Garde. You have made so many, like, both of these teams have made mistakes, but you have to at least time them.
Off cooldown. Could potentially get 3 members here. Does get the jungler, and that's all they're going to need as the Baron falls. Now the 3 members of Avant are caught off guard here. They're just trying to pick their targets well. Paradise, he's booked it out of there. Beautiful chain of corruption. Stunning everyone up at Sazu with the empowered recall. Going to cancel that one, but a free Baron is a free Baron.
Yeah, they get themselves a Dragon Baron and a team fight basically in their favor before all of this now ends. And they're able to go back to their base and spend all of the money that they have now established for themselves. Avant Garde make mistakes to the point where Tainted Minds are now absolutely in control of the map. And that was a team fight that AV won. They decided they wanted to lose immediately afterwards, but it's capitalized on by Tainted Minds. They recognize what they can take. They take exactly the amount that their limit was. And they get themselves further into the driver's seat.
It's on the back to see if Tainted Minds will, in fact, keep this lead, or are they going to just chuck the volleyball back onto the side of Avant's court once again?
It does feel like ping pong a bit, doesn't it?
A little bit, yeah. Whose turn is it to serve, and will a team hit back?
It's pretty back and forth.
Yeah.
There's been volleys. There's been rallies.
Definitely. Last game was quite a rally and a half.
8-1-1 as well as this solution. But you have to remember, we mentioned the scaling off. Chenny Boy still putting in work. Neither of them going to crit fields, however, so it's all spell-based and poke-heavy. Looking at a Varus Ezreal, though, against that Lucian. So if they can't break base, they're going to have a hard time actually getting past any member of AV.
It looks like everyone from TM making their way through this blue side of the jungle. They've got their sights set on this tower. They are just going to have a few minions to help base tank that one up. Paradise goes in. They've thrown their sights onto him. Does get the ultimate off in time. Looks like Zahi gets ulted back into the tower. He's going to go down. Saza, who does have the eventual Maelstrom, but not for much longer. Omni gets chunked out by Triple. And once again, the rally continues, Rusty.
Yeah, it does. Rosie now needs to get himself out, but 2 more kills into the back pocket of AV, and we'll see what they can do with it. There's now the ball's in their court.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Quite seriously, this is like my favorite TV series, Game of Thrones.
Oh, once again, looks like the fight has gone in. Look at the damage coming out of Lost. Paradise is strong, but getting shredded, mate.
I don't know. At this stage, I don't know how to analyze it. They just really enjoy fighting each other. And if you don't have a ward, they even had a ward. It's a magical journey. So, like, credit to Rosie where it's due, right? They are still catching people out of position. This base is going to potentially be in shambles because of the Baron buff and lost damage.
They get a Nexus Tower for it. So off the back of what looked like a very bad outcome, 2 members dying after a beautiful ult from Chelby allowed them to continue that fight. They're back in the driver's seat with 5 members around that mid. You'd think maybe the open in here might be the way to go, but Omni does get caught out. He's able to get out of that one. A beautiful Bard ulti. Now Chelby is the only one who can do anything. He gets taken down. Omni is so low. Maybe the magical journey isn't the right decision right yet, mate, but they are going to back off. As they want to chase, though, Avant. They don't want to give up without a fight. And fight they shall. A great stun.
Okay, no idea how that stunned.
No idea how that stunned, but it's stunned Rusty.
But Avant, they don't get the team fight. They don't get the swap. And whilst the engage from Chelby was actually really good, he just couldn't knock Omni towards the team. And it was entirely diffused by the Tempered Fate. If Tainted Minds win this game, it's the bottom lane. And that's the thing. This is exactly where their strength should be lying. And they've managed to get the game to that point where Omni might be the focus, but doesn't mean that they're going to lose the team fight because Lost is just going off and Rose is helping him to do that and setting his AD carry up for success the best way that he knows how. Chenny's just having a bad time trying to kite all of these tanks and still needs to get his last Whisper item for the Maokai. Does have the Executioners calling in a Blade of the Ruined King, so in terms of tank strat, he's got some. It's one thing to have it, something to actually kill the Maokai with it. He's not dying anytime soon.
33 minutes in the game, about a 6,000 to 7,000 gold lead in favor of Tainted Minds. Tainted Minds once again in the driver's seat. We've said this time and time again in this game, but we can't overstate it enough just how back and forward these teams are, both just taking away the advantage when they see fit. 40 seconds left on this Dragon. Now how are Avant going to act around this? We know we know Tainted Minds want to fight, but will Avant fight back?
Yeah, well, 2 big decisions on the next Dragon as well, being a Ocean Drake, which is the second for either team that picks it up. It's definitely worth looking at as a fight. And no Baron for 2 minutes as well. We'll see if they get it done beforehand. No.
Narrowly missed by Chelby. Zahi is going to be able to get away from that one. Without a Gragas ulti, though, do they have a hope of winning this fight?
So look at the Gragas' ultimate cooldown tick.
Oh,
however.
wow. That's
CDR. Already a
CDR.
quarter back to being ready. They just need to not go two-hand if they want to use it.
Zaza, who forced to use that ultimate. Still a sizable cooldown on that one as well, especially with a fight looming.
They start this off. Now, Lost is in an awkward position in terms of how this team fight starts, because if they get onto him, he just outright dies because he's by himself. He needs to regroup with the team. And that means that spells will be used to get him there. And this is where the poke from AV can actually be quite prevalent. Yeah, they get themselves the Dragon, but the mid lane, the inside track is not theirs.
Tainted Minds are just going to give that one up. That's 2 Ocean Drakes on the side of Avant, so anytime they get poked out, they do have very easy time to reset and recuperate, but it looks like they really want to fight this one. Not sure where they're going to come from. Everyone just using their cooldowns. The tower has been placed down by Omni. Good ultimate to keep them at bay. Zahi is going to have to get out of that one. There is Emperor's Divide Paradise. He gets his way over it. Omni is so low, getting himself out of that one. Ultimates have been used. Tempered's Fate is down, but look at Chenny Boy. He's got absolutely no fear right now. The Azir Tower might be enough to keep them at bay, combined with the soldier damage. And what a fight.
Yeah, AV get themselves the Dragon, and barely they hold. Azir, of course, making it so they have their own base to hold. And Omni doing an abundance of damage with Lost. Everything resets. We're back to square one, but with a big, sizable gold lead. Still in favor of our red team here, as they still look to try and break that base further. They're not having the best time in doing it, but this will be like the 3rd Baron they secure and still no base broken. If they can take this one down, AV finally have all 5 members alive, so perhaps look for a fight for it.
Oh, Lost, you might be in a little bit of trouble. The ulti only going to knock in Zahi. Can he tunnel out of this one? No, he's going to get taken down by Triple. Those two are being very greedy.
Yeah, greedy is exactly what I would say about that. Of course, ultimates burned Gragas and Varus. Means they don't have a lot left in the way of team fighting, and AV still not showing the respect the Tainted Minds deserve just yet. And they can still win fights. Remember that the big carries are alive. The 10-1 Lucian is still standing.
Yep, 25 seconds on Zahi.
2 Ocean Drakes as well, by the way.
That is true.
Granted, like, look at the sustain that Chelby has.
And when they're not in combat, they're going to be back to full health in no time, which does so well for how they want to play this. They want to, Chelby wants to get in. If he doesn't get the ultimate, it doesn't matter because it's about on a 40-second cooldown right now. they're starting the Baron.
There's definitely going to be a contest here. Nice
Great.
Bard ulti.
Great Tempered Fate. Omni does get knocked away. 8,000 health left on the Baron. Sazahu, he's in the middle
Omni's
there. Omni
dead.
goes in, just gets deleted. The Emperor's Divide not going to be enough now. Avant, they're firing on all cylinders. They're looking to make it happen. Here comes Zahi, but I think he's too late to join the party. They do stop the Baron, but at what cost, Russ?
Yeah, they just need to keep poking, but Chelby and Chenny need to just chill out. Still a 4v5. They still have a point where they could be at advantage.
Uh-oh.
And this is the point.
Oh, the Bard Sun locks down Shelby and Triple. That might be
Nice
enough
slow.
time to get them away. Lost forces to flash here. Another stun. He looks like he wants to go in.
Oh.
He just completely outplays Chenny Boy. Now he's got his sights set onto Paradise, doing what he can. Does get taken out, but there the tanks are still alive. No carries
No matter
available.
on Sazahu.
Oh, they're going to go down after a very valiant attempt to turn the fight around at a loss.
These games have been ridiculously bloodthirsty, to say the least. Sazahu naturally going to fall, but MVP of this exact team fight are the minions in the bottom lane because they break the turret
Oh, wow.
bottom and they're now looking towards the inhibitor. But the Baron still stands. The Dragon is not available. And everything is back to square one more time.
All right, it's Tainted Minds are winning at this stage. It's hard to keep track at the moment which team's turn it is to pass the baton on the state of the game
like
right now.
dial-up. It takes a long time for you to get to the end result. And even when you think you're going to get there, someone else uses the phone and you have to start all over again.
Flashbacks to that annoying noise. I'm not going to replicate it for you guys, so don't worry. But as we can see at BNA, O's thinking Lost Lucian is really giving up to the hype. Credit to Rosie too for setting up the opportunities, and you got to give credit to Rosie, right?
Absolutely.
His findings have been on point this entire game.
Yeah, we mentioned it earlier in the broadcast as well. Definite credit where it's due to Rosie. He's been playing this Bard impeccably. Lost absolutely is living up to this hype, and this is the AD carry before this series, remember. We said is potentially the best AD carry on the server.
He's doing a really good job of fighting for that title. Minute and a half left on the Dragon.
And
the Baron
he's Kiwi.
still available.
I don't know what that means. I just thought I'd add that in as a fun fact.
Yep, one fun fact with Zach Rusty Pie, ladies and gentlemen. Many more to come.
Yeah, sure.
Looks like the Baron is still available. Dragon on its way. So Triple doing what he can to push out the minion waves. And after 35 minutes, it's the Elder Drake, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
The next Drake should be the Elder.
Just making sure.
Yep, it is.
Yep, beautiful. We see Shelby and Triple doing what they can to hold any minion progression.
It's actually pretty big as well that it's the Elder Drake. 5 taken in this game so far. You want to fight for it. It's the Baron now.
The Baron not going down too fast. Is Chenny Boy the only really damage dealer there as Triple hadn't made his way? Zahi's Q.
They just want to bring
back.
Tainted Minds over. But they're definitely standing strong. I think the Elder Dragon is what they're looking for as an objective to take. That and the base, naturally. But what they should do and what they are doing is pushing AV away from the Baron. Threatening that middle lane and then immediately rotating towards the Elder Dragon so that they can take it for themselves or at least get control of the map and set themselves up best, as they really like doing this. AV don't really want to check anyway. This is a battle of baiting down lane control. Actually, it's been started. They're just going to trade objectives again.
Yeah, this time it will be Avant going for the Baron, and Tainted Minds getting themselves the Dragon. They do have the 3 dragons, so more of an advantage.
If Tainted Minds get over to this Baron before it's taken, they can actually outright win a team fight.
The Tempered Fate is going to be stalling. 3,000 health going down very fast. The Baron will get taken. Omni doing what he can. Paradise is in there. A lot of damage, but both teams not looking to overcommit. A good disengage ult out of Triple.
And they just can't decide which objective they want more, I think, is the consensus here. Tainted Minds knew they wanted the Elder Dragon. They forced themselves towards that objective by pushing AV off Baron. They knew what they wanted. I just don't think that AV actually knew they wanted the Baron more than the Elder, or to deny it even, because think about the damage that Lucian's now going to be doing. With 3 Drakes to buff the Elder Dragon, as well as the amount of move speed they're now going to have around the map with a Bard team composition. everything's going right for Tainted Minds in terms of decision making, and AV felt like they just took the second best option. It's not going to put them into a poor position by any means. They're still an epic monster buff. Like, they still have the Baron buff. Don't think of it lightly.
You know, the flashy, brand new, good-looking Elder Dragon. Very reminiscent of... Huh?
Doesn't really have a look.
Looks cool.
It does. Okay, the Elder Dragon looks
Yeah,
cool.
the buff itself is... The Elder Dragon, though, looks very flash. I will give them that. As we see the members of Avant, they've got themselves down to this bot lane. All 5 members. Teleport is available from Paradise, but he is going to opt to hold on to that one and just group up with his team.
Yeah, so eyes on Rosie for engage as well now. Maokai, perhaps if he wants to teleport, which isn't available, is the other option. So it's the Tempered Fate needs to hit the right targets for them to follow that one up, perhaps with the Azir. But once again, Rosie's set his team up for success so well this game. He needs to follow that out with a team fight. And here it is.
It isn't going to hit anyone, unfortunately, but Chenny Boy gets caught out. Are they have enough damage to get him? He will have to flash over that one, but Rosie looking to make it happen. Solos him out, basically. That's 2 kills over the Tainted Minds. Now the 3 remaining of Avant are booking it out of the Magical Journey. Not going to be enough as a good chains keeps him safe, but that arrow was close to being a double
Lost
kill.
was dead if that connected.
He has 3 stacks on him.
Yeah, absolutely right. But they only get 2 kills here. Tainted Minds. I will say Rosie talked it up. He did a lot of damage on that Bard. The end result, don't give Elder Dragon to Tainted Minds. I think that's what we can say from that. Safe to say.
They have a lot of damage dealers, and it does facilitate Zahi. Did go for that Warriors.
Yeah, Varus putting in a lot of work as well, but he's the only thing left standing because Chenny was out of position. Was too keen on the flank.
Omni isn't there quite yet. And look at the damage from Triple. You've got to respect him.
Yeah. Not too much life still from Lost either, given his item build, I think is the best way to explain this. But
got himself the potion by the look of it.
Everyone's back alive for this if they look to contest it. It's going to be a 5-on-5.
Good job at clearing out the minion waves, but that's the Ezreal ulti down, so not going to have that for a team fight, but it's not going to matter. As Tainted Minds have backed off.
The hard part about this game is that like it is legitimately what I would call a throw.
Sure.
Because it's on the opposite side of the map when they lose every single time. Death timers have been reduced, so it's harder to actually get objectives now. And if they keep pushing and then losing team fights, Avant save themselves more often than not. Still 5k gold down. Has hit the point once again in game number 2, where it doesn't really matter how much gold people have. They're pretty much all maximized and they're most efficient with their item builds. Ezreal the closest to, might need that next one.
Looks like Shelby going to be getting out of this one. They wanted to go for this blue buff. Zahi and Rosie.
Teleport just wasted.
Teleport for the security of the blue buff? I don't know.
Well, look, it is 15% AP bonus on a death cap Azir.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense to me, Rusty. The Saza, who does get hit by the blade of the Ruined King, wants to turn it around onto Chenny Boy, but maybe he's bit off more than he can chew. Where is the rest of his team? A beautiful Tempered Fate to kind of stall out the fight. Saza, who's still alive. One more tick should do it. He's still going. How is this man alive? He's got himself his Guardian Angel. Zahi is now the next focal point. Look at the damage. Oh no, a poor ultimate from Omni. Not going to be doing too much. It does allow Sazahu to survive for an extra second. But now Avant.
Yes, the 2 big tanks have just died. There is not a lot left available for Tainted Minds whatsoever. The carries are still there, so the damage is still there. And they can still keep themselves potentially in this game. But it's going to be at least an inhibitor taken from them. And now the map has started to blow open in Avant Garde's favor, even though the gold lead isn't.
Yeah, look, Saza, he saw an opportunity to take out Chenny Boy. It didn't happen, and everyone just turned around and said, hey, we know what happens when a Maokai gets out of position. Look at the minions. We can just turn and kill him. They don't have the Kindred Shore for that percentage damage, but they've got Chenny Boy and Triple.
They need to defend that really quickly, because the second those cannons die, like that inhibitor will get...
Oh.
It's dead. Yeah, it's actually just dead. Good luck.
They're trying. Grugs, get it. Ah, a couple more attacks should do it. The hero
that
minions.
cannon is the MVP. Oh my god.
What?
Oh, the cannon.
It's so close. Oh my lord, that was too close to count.
That was the best team fight of the game.
I was
There's been
half
like
expecting.
38 kills.
He did ult. Shelby did ult.
Yeah. All right, so they hold their inhibitor. It's not an inhibitor trade.
No.
Minions almost getting them that one. Tainted Mind's looking for the Baron as the next major objective. Definitely still standing behind walls and trying to stun people is Rosie.
Yeah.
And no Elder buff to speak of either now as we're back once again.
We are back, Rusty. 5,000 gold in favor of Tainted Minds, but at this stage, it's not meaning a heck of a lot. Another long one here, just as we hit 47 minutes in the game. Is this going to be the 4th or 5th Baron of the game?
This will be 4.
Alrighty. There's 45 seconds left on the respawn of that. On that one, no GA available for Sazahu, so might make him rethink his aggressive positioning this time.
Feels like it's hit the point where like both of these teams aren't really sure how to split push, and they don't really want to split push because obviously they want a team fight. But pressuring side lanes is still valuable.
Look at Rosie. What are you doing in there? Get out of there, mate. Magical Journey looks like it's not up cooldown just yet. There is a Tempered Fate onto 2 members.
Triple.
Can they make anything happen? The stun only going to land onto Chelby. Forces the flash
Oh,
from the
Omni's
Varus,
help.
but Omni gets chunked about 70% in a half a second.
Poke compositions. That's exactly what Jakey said
Yeah.
in game number 1 on Twitter after he lost. In jest and with absolute sarcasm. But now he's using one of them
Omni's recalling.
to beat Tainted Minds at their own game.
Maybe if they had an extra Ocean Drake, they'd be feeling good about sticking around. Shelby gets the ultimate off despite the stun from Bart landing. Now Sazahu with no summoners to speak of to get himself out of this one. There is the Varus ulti to lock him down. He's popped his own to keep him safe. Not going to matter as Chenny Boy takes him away. But on the backside, Paradise, tank for tank here. Lost, though, gets taken very low. This is scary.
Yeah, Lost gets scarily low, but remember, we're still looking at a 4v4 with both top laners dead. If Tainted Minds get out.
The double stun, it might be enough. Here comes Omni. He's going in. He's got his sights set. The Soldier's going to be shutting down that 2 kills. There is the ulti. Jake don't know where to run. There should be a free stun coming up from Rosie and a double kill for the Bard.
This is ridiculous. It's hit the point in the game where Bard is doing probably the most damage out of everybody. Omni still does a lot of work. But how do you, you get yourself a kill on Sazahu. Paradise, I have no idea what he was doing over there. The same time, they then get that kill, they get power hungry, looking for Lost because they knew he was low. They were aware that he was low and that they could look for something. They chase deep into an area with no vision. And once again, bloodthirsty, power hungry plays that are backfiring endlessly is the name of the game.
We're trying to try and get this second inhibitor in the top lane. They got plenty of time. Paradise, he's up in 5 seconds, but Lost is there making short work of this inhibitor.
And Baron's
Bard,
live.
The Magical Journey is going to get him to safety in there. Omni, he's low in mana and he's in the bot lane.
Yeah, he's getting blue buff, and then they'll look towards the Baron potentially. The Elder Dragon as well in 55 seconds. In fact, they're just going to start this one up now. And it makes a lot of sense that they can get this. Working past this to the Elder Dragon is actually a big risk.
7,000 health left. They're getting it down quite.
Shelby's walked a long way. It's actually just going to die because it doesn't want to fight it. Yeah, they give that one up. Everyone gets a free recall and purchase. Not that they need to purchase anything. In fact, I think Bard's going to get a rapid fire cannon perhaps or a static shiv. There we go.
Beautiful.
Yeah,
I like
absolutely. Damage online.
Oh, no, there's the rapid fire
See, I
cannon.
was right the first time. Come on, Rosie.
Those meeps, every meep counts right now. Sazahu has a teleport available so he can afford to go back a little bit late. Opts to run it though. Do they want to fight for this one? The positioning.
Chenny's there. They know they're all there.
Where else would they be, right?
The spider sense from Zahi actually spotting them across the center radar. He's passive. This is a must fight for AV because if they give over the Baron and this buff, it's lights out. And we'd be going to a 3rd game. Remember, the 2 inhibitors have been taken, so sooner or later they'll have to fight this. There is no second chances for Avant Garde in this game.
Keep your eye open for that Tempered Fate to kind of start things off here. Rosie's done a great job so far.
Reset as well. This is disastrous for AV the longer this goes on. And this is great for Tainted Minds because look at the minions in the side lanes. Look at how many there are and how strong it's about to become.
They're on a short fuse here. They don't have a lot of time. There is a beautiful 3-man Tempered Fate. Looks like they've got their sights set onto Shelby. A nice ultimate coming out from Omni, keeping them at bay, but that's not a lot to follow up. The Elder Dragon doing what it can. 5,000 health left on this one. Triple still a force to be reckoned with. Misses the ulti. Here comes Zahi. Who's going to get it? Zahi steals that one away. Paradise, though, he's still alive. He's got his sight set onto Lost.
Lost
Who
in
sees
the pit.
Jimmy Boy. They dodge at the Q. He's only got about 300 health left. One auto attack from Triple should do it. But there's Omni. He's still alive. Rosie as well with the rapid
And the
fire
teleport's
cannon.
in. The game's over.
The game is well and truly over as Zazahu, that's why he didn't want to teleport to Dragon.
He has an army of minions backing him up, the easiest Nexus take of his life, and Tainted Minds, after 52 minutes again, have found themselves in a tie situation now against their opponents. Avant Garde still took it to the wire. This is what happens when you rinse and repeat the same team compositions. It's funny how that turned out. The exact same thing happened on the opposite foot.
Look, these guys are definitely at odds right now. Basically tit for tat, blow for blow every single time. We see one team that looks like they're about to take an advantage and run away with it. The other team says no. We're going to say, well, rather the other team says no, here's the advantage back, actually.
I don't want to expand too much on that, but it's
No
absolutely one team finds an advantage, wants to push that advantage and says that we don't feel like having that advantage anymore. Let's give it to the other team, and naturally backfires. We've got ourselves a tie.
Alrighty, guys, we're going to chuck it back to the desk to break down that heck of a game.
Oh, caught here at the desk. But you know what? That is a 1-1 tie between... Look at this. Like, come on. Frost, you got to give me something. That game went for a long time. You know, I'm back here. I'm happy. No, I'm not catching that crap. Anyway, so we are 1-1 between Tainted Minds and Avant Garde right now. Back and forth game between both these teams. And I think that it's fair to say that once again, Avant Garde get the early advantage.
Yeah, and that was mostly on the back of good pickup fish. No, that was mostly on the back of Shelby in particular. He had a hell of a game. Like a lot of those Gragas casts, being on point, very methodical in all his ganking paths. It looks like it was Shelby's game to shine. And then we got to that like 37 to 55 minute mark, and not that Shelby fell off, but just everything else kind of became a disaster, and Omni started to pick up that power spike of being the Azir late game.
During the early game, Shelby was always at the right place at the right time, always getting great counter ganks off, initiating ganks himself. It was fantastic coming out from his team, and I have to echo Frostgreen sentiments because the decision-making I felt coming out from Avant was just very poor from the mid-game to the late game. I started writing down points where I thought that they were making bad choices and bad decisions, but it just kept adding up. I stopped.
Well, the biggest thing for me is not necessarily decision-making, although I definitely think that there were blunders on both sides. I mean, anytime you have a game where it goes back and forth like that, where it's kind of League of Throws, it's just poor decisions on, or mistakes being made by both sides. It's this idea that not everyone is firing at the same time on teams. So we already highlighted Shelby. Shelby's going off. He's having a great series. Then on the other side, you effectively have this 10 and 1 Lucian at a point of the game. Like, Lost is just living up to that reputation of being that all-star Lucian player. Rosie's doing great things on the Bard. Omni's starting to pick up, but it's just not everyone firing at the same time.
Zahi at the same time has built Warrior Rek'Sai and is running around getting a little bit destroyed.
He
So
got the Elder Dragon Smite steal at the end.
He did. So he came through in the end. But I agree with you. The sentiment is right now that, you know, the top half of the map looks fantastic out of AV versus the bottom half of the map on Tainted Minds. But this time, Omni joins the party, and that's where I want to change my attention to, because Triple threw the gauntlet in this game. I mean, Tainted Mind, they did exactly what we asked. They take away the Azir. They make sure it's on their side of the map. But Triple goes towards, I guess, a little bit of the Rapid Star
play.
versus Toys play, where he's like, I've beaten you on one side of the matchup. I'll show you the other side of the matchup as well. But it backfired him as the game went to the latter stages.
And again, it just comes back to this idea that Azir is going to be so much more of a presence late game than Varus. Obviously, he has his big mid-game power spike, and when Triple did connect with those piercing arrows, massive damage. You saw that about 75% of lost HP, but you're still waiting that cooldown window. You're still very reliant on pockets of true vision, setting up, getting to those objectives first, and that's what Fish, you were talking about when it comes to decision-making, making sure that you get to that Elder Dragon first, making sure that you get to that Baron first, and setting up Varus to thrive, where Azir just rocks up to the party, and guess what? He's Azir late game. He's going to do massive amounts of damage to everyone quicker than Varus will.
I agree. There were a couple of times during the cast where Rusty pointed out there were a few very poor ultimates coming out from the Azir, but it didn't matter because he was there at the right time, right place, was just poking people out with soldiers, whereas Varus, even though he got good arrows out, good ultimates out, it just wasn't as effective.
So once again, that means that Tainted Minds pick up their win, and they'll be marching towards what they hope will be an OPL final berth. They have to wait for the end of the season to find out if they get there. However, you guys can pick up your tickets on Friday night, 6 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. They come on sale, so keep your eyes peeled. However, guys, we're going towards a game 3 in this set. Don't go anywhere. 3.5, and we'll be right back.